Once I get rid of the book part,
Well, we used to.
Good evening, everybody, and I'd like to call to order the Special Committee of the Whole meeting for this evening on Monday, August 5th, 2024. And if I could have a roll call, please.
bear with me here. Amy Relke is absent this evening. Hammer.
Here.
Motive.
Present.
Reed.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Rostad.
Here.
Finkler. Here.
Okay. And this has been properly noticed according to state statutes.
Yes, it has.
And just as a note, Amy Rolke is excused.
Yes.
So, and then I would look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So move.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Alder Rosted and a second by Alder Motif to approve tonight's agenda for the Special Committee of the Whole meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, agenda approved. Is there any public comment for this first part? There is not. On to that, then new business, the facade grant request by Kababa for 101 East James Street. And we have Mike Corman here to discuss the proposal. So.
Yeah, this is Phase 2 of CABA's redevelopment of the property at the corner of James and Ludington. This exterior portion includes new windows and painting of the trim. He included, in your packet, you'll see photos of before and after. Essentially, the trim that you see on the northern end of the building, that dark green trim, is going to be extended to the rest of the building. The windows are going to be replaced with some energy efficient windows. There's some lead-based paint on there, so they'll be dealing with that. But the total project cost is $54,000 for the project. That covers essentially two facade faces, one on James, one on Ludington, and our facade grant allows up to $25,000 on a project, a one-to-one match, and CABA will be providing more than that one-to-one match because it's a $54,000 project. So it'll really make that corner kind of spruce it up and really whip that building into shape. Any questions?
No questions? Everybody comfortable moving this forward then? All right, very good. With that, I would look for a motion to adjourn the Special Committee of the Whole meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Finkler and a second by Alder Rosted to adjourn. Any discussion further? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned from the Special Committee of the Whole meeting. We move into the regular.
Probably want to wait a minute, Mayor.
Can you just give me a second?
Okay, well, we got a minute anyways. We have to wait.
And
so.
while we're waiting, just to share for those that didn't hear earlier, we're working in the new Unicode software and for those that didn't hear earlier, we're working in the new Unicode software, which provides Susan the opportunity to take minutes within the software during the meeting. And as we learn it, as she learns it, we might just ask for a little pause here and there as we implement what we view to be a significant time saver for Susan in the long run.
We're good. All right. Then I would welcome everybody, those watching on the cable channel also, to tonight's Common Council meeting of Monday, August 5th of 2024. And with that, could we have a roll call, please?
Finkler.
Here.
Hammer.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Motive.
Present.
Reed.
Here.
Relke is excused. Rostad.
Here.
I acknowledge this meeting was posted and noticed according to law.
Okay. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and I, excuse me, I would look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motive will make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Motive and a second by Alder Finkler to approve tonight's agenda. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, agenda approved. Any public comments? Okay, then we will move on to the consent agenda, which includes the council and committee of the whole minutes for July 16th of 2024, approve the mayoral appointments for the Board of Review and Cable Commission, and approve disposal of the 2006 Sterling chassis Vector truck via Wisconsin surplus auction.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Motive will second.
Okay, motion by Alder Lawson, a second by Alder Motive to approve tonight's consent agenda. Any questions? Alder Rosted?
Number 3 was supposed to have a appraisal value and a reserve put on it, and that's not provided.
I'm not aware that that's been done yet. It will before it goes to auction.
Okay.
Okay. Any other further questions on this? Hearing none, then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then under new business, we will consider and take action on the task order of 2024-03 from Rupert Melke related to the design of the stormwater improvements to Fireman's Park in the amount of $84,400.
I'll move to approve the task order 2024-03 from Ruckert and Milky related to design of stormwater improvements to Fireman's Park in the amount of $84,400.
Lawson will second.
Okay, motion by Alder Finkler and a second by Alder Lawson to approve the task order of 2024-03. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, roll call.
Finkler.
Aye.
Hammer.
I don't vote.
I'm so sorry. I'm a little confused. Lawson.
Aye.
Motive.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rostad.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. And then item number 5 under new business is to consider and take action on the proposal from Parkitecture and Planning to develop a master plan for Fireman's Park in the amount of $17,768.
I'll move to approve the proposal from Parkitecture plus Planning to develop a master plan for Fireman's Park in the amount of $17,768.
Lawson second.
Okay, a motion by Alder Finkler and a second by Alder Lawson to approve the proposal from Parkitecture plus Planning. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Lawson.
Aye.
Motive.
Aye.
Rostad.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Finkler.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, then next would be the facade grant request by Kababa for 101 East James Street in the amount of $25,000.
Alder Motif would like to make a motion to approve the facade grant for Kababa at 101 East James Street in the amount of $25,000.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Motif and a second by Alder Finkler to approve the request by Kababa for the amount of $25,000. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, roll call.
Rostad.
Aye.
Motiv.
Aye. Yes.
Finkler.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, then next is the take action on the claims in the amount of $311,242.25.
Alder Motif will make a motion to approve the claims in the amount of $311,242.25.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Motif, second by Alder Finkler to pay the claims. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Finkler.
Aye.
Motiv.
Aye.
Rostad.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, then item number 7, or not 7, report of city officers. City Administrator.
My report will be short. Just want to thank a lot of our staff that's put a lot of time and effort over the last few weeks into compiling the information for the capital improvement plan. This was a big ask and a big lift, and specifically want to note the work of Fire Chief Scott Hazeltine, Public Works Superintendent Troy Kehoe, City Treasurer Crystal Larson, and I'm missing one other staff member that I apologize for that served on that committee. But again, each department was involved in the process. It's going to be a work in progress. What you see tonight will change a great deal over the next 2 weeks and month as we go through further evaluation. And then the only other item that I have is, and I know the mayor is going to talk about it as well, is tomorrow evening's National Night Out. Hopeful that community can come out, celebrate the event at Fireman's Park, starting at 5:30. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Again, as Matt had mentioned, National Night Out tomorrow. Please come out and show your support. It'll be from 5:30 till 8. There'll be music, food, games. MedFlight will be there, hopefully, unless they get 6 o'clock they're scheduled for, unless a call would come. And then also a Black Hawk helicopter provided by the National Guard is scheduled. And was that time 5:45-ish in there? Okay, very good.
Hopefully they're not needed for a call.
That, yeah. All right, thank you. August 14th is the last of the CHLPC summer concerts at Fireman's Park, so please come out and show your support. That is a fundraiser for the Rest Haven project. Possibly another staff member and myself, Mike Corman, if he's able to, will be attending the League of Municipality seminar on August 15th. And this is geared for mayors, village presidents, and city administrators. And on behalf of the city of Columbus, I would like to extend our sympathies to the family of Lee Erdman. Lee was a police chief from 1976 until his retirement in 1989. I got to know Lee for those years, and just a very, very nice fellow, and he will be surely missed. So, with that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Alder Finkler and a second by Alder Rosted to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, regular common council meeting is adjourned. Does anybody need to take a break? All right, then we will move right into the Committee of the Whole meeting for Monday, August 5th, 2024. And if I could have a roll call, please.
This will get faster, I promise.
Nope, that's fine.
Hammer,
Here.
Motive,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Lawson,
Here.
Rostad,
Here.
Finkler.
Here.
Relke is excused.
Okay, we have the Pledge of Allegiance again, but unless you want to. We will move on to that this meeting has been properly noticed according to state statutes. And with that, I would look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So move.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Alder Rosted and a second by Alder Finkler to approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. Public comments for this?
There are none.
None. Okay, thank you. And we have the committee minutes on file for the Cable Commission from April 29th, 24, Library June 16th, 24, and the PFC from June 12th and July 10th of 24. With that, then we would go on to new business, item number 2, which is to discussion regarding the amendment to Ordinance 114-101 related to fences.
Earlier this summer, the Plan Commission was taking a look at some ordinances. One of the things that came on their radar was the fence code. One of the items that happened in the community that brought the fence height issue to their attention was a dog leapt over a 6-foot fence. Quite an athletic dog, and that sometimes that there's reasons to have a little bit taller fence in some yards, and so the discussion went on about how to get some additional flexibility in fence height, similar to how we deal with parking reductions in the parking code. So this is the code that came up with. Essentially, it's an added section 9 to 114-101. They have to fill out an application, come before the Plan Commission, show up in person or remotely. They can't just fill out an application and not show up. They have to be here so you can ask them questions. That's really important, they thought. So this, the Plan Commission doesn't think this is going to happen a lot, but there's some circumstances where they thought some flexibility in the code was necessary.
Okay, any, Lawson?
Yeah, the only thing I noticed was there's some weird wording in it. The first sentence, that may authorize the recommendation, the approval of up to, you know, if they're authorizing the recommendation, I don't think we need the words, the approval.
Yeah, that had some wordsmithing in there. So I think there is some, they didn't want to say that they were approving it, that they wanted to recommend approval of it. If you want to see some modification of that, we can do that.
Mike, the Plan Commission would be the final say on this. This isn't something that would then come to council, correct?
I believe it would.
I think that's the question, and Michael took the point I was going to ask you about also, because it's worded both ways. So, and it doesn't matter which way you choose, but you have to choose one.
Right. And I think that was, the discussion went round and round a little bit, and it got a little bit wonky. So I guess that's the direction we need from the council. If you guys want us to wordsmith it so that it's approved at the plan commission or it comes to the council. If you can give us that direction, we can adjust that language.
Okay, Alder Reed?
Oh, thank you. Yes, so I was just wondering, do we still have the expectation of 6 foot being the maximum, but this is additional language that someone may ask for permission for just 2 feet extra?
Yeah, right. So like if someone has a very athletic dog, something that has there's a strong purpose for that extra 2 feet, and they could make their case before the plan commission.
Yeah, thank you. I was just looking for some kind of language specifying just that this is more of the exception.
I think by going to the plan commission, that makes it a air quote exception, because normally the plan commission or the council would not even see these. I would just approve these administratively. So the fact that it's coming to the plan commission makes it, the people have to make extra effort, and they actually have to come to a meeting, so.
Nice. Oh, and my last thing on dog and 8-foot fence. If it's like a wooden fence and there's like a horizontal kind of crossbar across it, a dog can take a running start, leap up, hit the crossbar, and then still make it over 8 feet. Just something for keeping in mind in design.
Right. I think you're right. There's some amazingly athletic dogs. I've seen some videos on YouTube, and it's like, wow.
Alder Finkler?
I think they were first, but I just have a comment, not a discussion. I think the intention was to keep this in plan commission, so I would recommend to council that it not come to council. But I don't think there would be any concern from plan commission on doing some wordsmithing on this. I don't think that's an issue.
Alder Motive?
I agree. This doesn't need to go any further than Plan Commission. The council doesn't need to get involved. My only question is 8 feet enough when we are looking at incidents like we had? Are there other measures that we should be asking residents to take if they do have a dog like that in other ordinances?
It could be. I don't know. I think the plan commission was comfortable with 2 feet. Any more than that, they thought that would be more than what would be reasonable for thinking about neighbors and kind of a general standard. If it comes to a specific dog situation, that's maybe something other than a fence, a physical fence, maybe an invisible fence, but or some other means. I think that's something. I don't know that some of our fence code can solve all of these challenges, but I think this gives some needed flexibility.
Alder Wasserman?
I agree that the approval authority should stay with the plan commission.
Alder Reed?
Oh, I thought it was proper for this to come to our body because we're looking at an overarching policy. I definitely would not want to start seeing every individual fence incidents coming at this level, but the way it's presented, I find it appropriate.
You have anything further?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just waiting till the important people were done. Before this gets finalized, because this is zoning code, this will have to go through a public hearing at the plan commission level.
It did.
It did already? Okay, good. And then it'll have to be approved by the council one way or the other. So pick your words carefully, and then we'll go forward.
Okay.
opinion being, we're approving the amendment to the ordinance, but this should stay, my opinion is it should stay with the Plan Commission. It's not something that council really needs to be micromanaging in that regards. My daughter has a Husky Pit Bull mix that can clear 6 foot without attaching to anything. She can clear it, so she would definitely need to have the 8 foot because it's incredible to watch. So, all right, we're comfortable moving this forward then.
With wordsmithing.
With the word, yeah, with the corrections, okay. All right, then on to item number 3, which is discussion regarding ordinance amendment related to items going to committee of the whole. And Matt, if you would.
Yeah, I wanted to throw this out for discussion. We see a number of things that get reviewed by a committee, have good discussion, then have to come to the committee of the whole for further discussion, and then to the council. And in some cases, that's a 6-week process. And one of my thoughts was on a compromise of the things coming to the committee of the whole, everything that comes to council going to committee of the whole. Is there interest in looking at items that go to a city committee, are reviewed, there's a recommendation made to the council, that bypasses the committee of the whole, and that we look at the ordinance in that regard? Just wanted to throw this out for discussion.
Okay. Alder Lawson.
I think that makes sense. The one addition to that, I would say, is as long as there's confirmation from the council liaison that it is appropriate to move on.
And again, whatever direction comes from, if there is direction to look at an ordinance, I'll work with Paul on having that drafted to come back, obviously, to council at a future meeting.
Alder Moda.
I agree. This is a good compromise from our previous discussion. I do think that there needs to be a council liaison or a committee liaison available when the recommendation is presented.
Alder Finkler.
I like this idea. I think that it's not like we're bypassing council. It's still going to come to council. It's just going to skip the committee of the whole because we have committees for a reason and they're to hash out all the details and then present it to council. So I think this is a great idea. The only thing I was going to ask on this, when we're doing this change, is there a way that we can also change the ordinance where it requires something from committee of the whole to go to council, even if it dies at committee of the whole, if you will?
I'm going to speak for Paul, but I'm sure we can look at that in the ordinance draft.
What exactly, can you give an example of what you're trying to address?
I'm trying to address, we're going to go back to when Ian was on council and he kept bringing up over and over and over that if something was on committee of the whole agenda, it had to go to council, whether or not you wanted it to.
Yeah.
And he said that was an ordinance, so I'm thinking we can clean that up while we're doing this and we can resolve that problem going forward.
So if something dies at committee of the whole, it dies?
It can just die at committee of the whole. Because right now we have to make a motion for it to not go to council if we want to follow ordinance.
Alder Reed.
Thank you. I'm cautioning against making the change. I feel like it makes government less transparent to have so many things hashed out in committee, where it's much less public, people are much less aware. The way we have it set up allows time for the public to react to issues. It's just kind of poor timing with how people are feeling to now try to switch over to have everything done, just away from the public eye. I know it'd be more convenient for us and save us time, but I feel like it would appear to get rid of a number of checks and balances.
Alder Lawson? Oh, I'm sorry, were you up first?
He had it.
Alder-
He did.
Okay, I missed.
You're fine.
Trying to
I'll
keep
just,
track.
I think, Trina, that's well said, but I'll provide a counterpoint is that we've struggled to fill recently some committee positions, and I look at, if I'm a resident in the community and want to serve on a committee, does the council trust me? Am I engaged and involved to be part of the decision process? And my experience in other cities that I've worked in is the committees do the work. They have the maybe greater knowledge in some subject areas. And that differs from committee to committee, but they're invested and involved in the work that item would be coming to that committee. And so what I've seen is when you've got good engaged committees and the council trusts the work of the committee, and as we've referenced, there's a liaison from the council to those committees, a lot of times you can get a deeper dive and a greater look at an issue. And then if there is something of controversy that comes to the council, there is nothing to say that the council has to act on that item that evening. It can postpone to give more time for input or feedback. But I look at, tonight's a great example. The facade loan goes to CDA, is reviewed by the CDA. It's a program the CDA manages and is involved in. And, tonight's situation with a special committee of the whole, we do that from time to time, and I just look at it as a kind of an unnecessary step. But I see both sides. I'm just looking at, there are things that, from a time-sensitive standpoint, it would be nice to move faster through.
Alder Wilson.
So we say it would take up to 6 weeks, or it can take up to 6 weeks. What's the time frame if it gets denied at council? Still 6 weeks? Do we cut any time out?
Well, it'd have to come back I guess denied versus, if something's denied at council, it doesn't move forward.
Or postponed?
If it's postponed, then I mean, 6 weeks is an average. If, like, I'm just trying to think of an example. If it's a 5-week month, like last month was, and your committee meets on the third week of the month, then it comes to committee of the whole the first week of the following month and is approved by council on the third week. So that's, 4 to 5 weeks. It varies based on, actually, that's almost 7 weeks in that situation. But it varies situation to situation, depends on the committee and when that committee meets.
And then I would just say, I think it's a step in the right direction, as long as we think our committees are all on the same page, up to par on holding meetings, and it just reiterates how important the liaison is going to become too.
Alder Lawson.
2 comments. So can we also leave it up to the committee if they believe an item should go to COW first? Because there are times where I think the committees are seeking feedback from council before officially moving forward. That might benefit if it doesn't always automatically skip. And then the other thing is, if we're moving in this direction at some point, do we evaluate the type of things that are coming through COW to determine where they should go and if there's an appropriate committee that they should be going through?
And that, I would agree 100% and equate that to, that's the role of the mayor, the council president, myself, to make sure that we're looking at those things, that if something is coming up, well, that needs to get to this committee, or if we get a request to bring something to COW, well, is there a committee that should go to let them weigh in?
Okay, any other questions or comments? So we have some direction. Okay.
We got some work to do. It's all right. I understand.
sometimes it's hard to take the intent from a meeting like this and get it into ordinance format when you start looking at an ordinance that's been kind of tweaked and adjusted over time, as we ran into with some other items. So we'll try and get this reflective of the discussion tonight.
I mean, obviously, things have changed over time. When I first started working in town here, it was, the committees did the bulwark, and everything was done at the council meeting, period. And, yeah, occasionally things would have to get postponed if it was something real critical, but I think it's putting more emphasis on the work of the committees going forward, so. All right. We will then move on to item number 4, which is discussion related to the cybersecurity grant and new phone system.
So the state of Wisconsin's announced a grant program for cybersecurity. Each community that's awarded can receive a maximum award of $100,000. I've been talking with RIME since RIME came on board with this program. We think we have a plan of how to extend fiber to city facilities that don't, which addresses not only cybersecurity, but potential long-term cost savings in providing internet and phone to some of our satellite buildings. I've also had some discussions with AT&T around the same thing in terms of our phone system. I think the difference is there's grant requirements in terms of ownership of the fiber, that the city would own the fiber. So it may behoove us to work with RIME on, RIME as a third party, they have a state contract for installing fiber. They've walked and looked at our facilities and are working on a proposal that I hope to have in the near future, but it's our intent to submit a grant to this program. My knowledge to this point is there's no matching funds required by the municipality, so it seems to be a very risk-free. There was a call to communities today to encourage them to submit, because very few communities across the state have submitted for this grant yet to date. So I'm hopeful that we're able to put something together that would be well received by the grant program.
Alder Lawson?
So no matching funds that we know of. Do we think that what we will move forward with will be covered by the grant completely, or do you think that there would be a city portion?
To my knowledge at this point, it would be under that maximum award threshold. Now, if the program gets more grant requests than they have funds, they may scale back the award amount, and then we'd come back and obviously have a discussion. My understanding is that the cost savings in the long run, this is something that we will probably want to prioritize whether we have grant funding or not. It may determine how soon we're able to do it if we're awarded the grant funds, but this is something that if we're not awarded the grant, we want to get included in our CIP because of the potential long-term cost savings.
Alder Mote, you initially had your light on.
My question was answered,
Okay.
but I do think we should move this forward, yes.
And I apologize for referencing new phone system, because I was hopeful that we'd have some proposals to discuss, but there's still too many unknowns for me to bring what I have to this point to compare apples to apples. But just know that we continue to work on that new phone system, and there's a lot of variables that if we have fiber at the facility, it's different obviously than if we don't and have to figure how those phones connect. So.
Okay, so we'll just be waiting to hear back from you on this item then. All right. Any other further questions? Okay, then we will move on to item number 5, which is discussion regarding the IT replacement plan and the review of quote for 2024 replacements.
So one of the items that you'll see in the capital improvement plan is our IT replacement that's structured out over the 5 years. To move forward on that program, we do have a quote for the 2024 amount. Each year, The amount for this ranges from right around 20,000 to 24,000 a year. Next year's projection is 23,600. You see a full list that essentially this is eight replacement computers. I'm sorry, it's 8 laptops and 2 desktops, so for a total of 10 units.
That would be tax exempt, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's fine.
I keep mentioning this to rhyme on the quotes we're receiving, so we'll get it eventually.
Alder Lawson.
Any reason why we're not moving to all laptops with docks?
I believe, and I'd have to dive into the replacement plan. I know that one of these desktop computers is at the pool, where there's some reception type, like hard, non-movable installations we have. I forget if the other one is one of the ones here at City Hall or at another facility. I can have that information for the next, when this comes to council.
That's not needed. Thanks.
Okay, any other further discussion on this? We are good for removing this forward, or moving this forward? Okay. Okay, then on to item number 6, which is discussion and review of the capital improvement program.
So I'm going to go high level on this. If anyone wants further clarification, discussion, happy to provide. I'm going to start with basically explaining one of the big reasons for doing this is something Ellers has been asking the city for, so that it can do our financial forecasting for future borrowing. This is going to be a critical piece for any large item that we look at, such as a public safety building, whether that's renovations to existing, upgrades to existing, or new facilities. A critical piece is structuring out our future debt and understanding what we can and can't do. The utilities tie into that to an extent, depending on how they borrow and what they're borrowing for. They're still working through their exercise and wanted to go through their 5-year with the Utility Commission before it would come to this body. So that is an update that will be made. There are numbers that have changed on this since we published. I mean, small tweaks and adjustments as we continue to compile data. But on the top, you see facilities planning, vehicles, capital equipment, building and grounds, parks, bridges, dams, streets, sidewalks, stormwater. And then you see the utilities, you see a maintenance program, so our annual street maintenance program and our annual sidewalk maintenance program. And then at the bottom, our small equipment, office furniture and equipment, and IT software hardware. So we've tried to look at all known or anticipated expenses over the next 5 years. Each of these has a separate tab in the document. So when you start at vehicle equipment replacement, you'll note in 2028, there's a very large expenditure for a 100-foot platform ladder truck. One of the things Ellers may look at is spreading that debt over multiple borrowings and leveling out our borrowing. But one of the reasons, initially you can see when Crystal and I were working on this, you can see we put a fourth of the cost in 4 different years for the platform ladder truck. And then I said, just leave it in the year that they want to acquire it for now and let Ellers tell us what to do rather than us guess. So we put that back. The engine is a 2031. I wanted to focus on 5 years, but note that on some of this extends beyond 2029. So we're trying to work on a 10-year, but the focus at this point is a 5-year. You can see the police department, squad replacements, public works list over the next 5 years in terms of the items that they want to replace. And then there's also, are these Yeah, so they're vehicles and then large equipment separated into two different groups. As you go into facilities, there's a listing of different projects within Public Works, within the police department. I will just preface this that we've received an initial letter from the DNR in regards to the dam, and that they are looking at dams across the state in terms of what's happened, not only in our state, but in adjoining states with dam failures. And Jason Letha's belief is that we will be asked to make investment in the dam at some point in the future. So we've just kind of included that. We don't know the numbers. We don't know the impact. There's been communication between Rupert Milkie and the DNR, and there's further study that is ongoing that the state is looking at dams throughout the state. So, City Hall, there's work in City Hall, there's work at the fire department, and again, the work at the police department and the fire department, it's good that we have these numbers, and we have to obviously incorporate those thoughts and decisions as we look at the future of public safety and what's happening with those facilities. Late last week, I received an initial report from Bray and have a follow-up meeting scheduled to talk with them, where they basically, to this point, have just assessed the viability of both facilities in a very, 10,000-foot viewpoint, and so further discussion will occur there. There'll be a committee of staff that meets initially with Bray before we figure out next steps in moving forward with their work. You can see there's a list for the Aquatic Center, the library annex, the 161 building, the community center. When you get into parks, the last discussion that we had at the committee of the whole level in regards to the scout cabin, I met with the scouts and we're prioritizing the fascia soffit repair, which we estimate to be about $7,000 in materials. And I had asked JSD for a proposal to create a structural floor plan. So you can see the initial estimates there. That's giving us repair and fixing of the fascia soffit, and a plan for the floor, but not obviously a project there. So there's more discussion, more work that needs to occur there. You can see in the parks a number of potential future projects. The Pavilion has a category, Meister Park, Kiwanis Park, Warner Park, or Enterpac Park, depending on which you prefer to refer to it as. As mentioned earlier, here is there's a bridge and dam tab, and what Crystal's done a really good job of is trying to look at the historical data that's hidden from this document, but we're able to see what the last project was in each of those areas so that we have some historical tracking of funding. The street replacement plan that may be a little bit different than the last time you saw it. We had some discussion and looked at what fit where with Jason last week. Street maintenance plan just kind of escalated each year for inflation. Crystal's put in some numbers for both these maintenance programs year to year, knowing that we won't be able to do the same next year that we did this year in terms of cost, anticipated increases. So trying to project that out and structure that out both in street maintenance and sidewalk maintenance. Stormwater, we've taken the list of 19 projects and tried to put those in a plan that made sense, that maybe ties them in with nearby street work. An example of that is in 2029, when Maple is being reconstructed, doing the channel cleaning along Maple. Just would make sense to do at the same time. So we kind of tried to look at what made sense there in terms of those priority projects and lining them up. And then the police department and public works have done a good job of looking at small equipment and included those numbers. I'm not sure that this is comprehensive for all departments. The aquatic center's looked at some chair replacement. We've looked at, some needs for copy printers, that sort of thing, and then the IT replacement. The last thing I want to go over is I've taken the 2025 projects and tried to put them in a more condensed document that when we get to the 25 projects and talk through, we want to do this, we don't want to do this, that it's a little more easy to digest. So these final 2 pages just list the 25 projects. And again, these numbers may change, the priorities may change. I know there's things that we've missed, and so part of this is going to be a review by staff to make sure that we've got everything that we've all talked about, made the list and included, so that we can discuss those. And I anticipate a more formal presentation to the committee in the future on the 2025 capital projects. There are questions on anything specifically that I can highlight or answer?
Yes, sir.
Alder Moore.
Why does the utility not have any numbers on here? It's known that they need a new Station 1. They already are on a vehicle rotation. We know that wastewater has upgrades that are needed.
I think the easy answer is that they have some of those numbers, and we've talked about some of those numbers. I think it was right that they wanted to talk through those with the Utility Commission first before it made this document, and they weren't ready for that at the July meeting. The plan is to be ready for that as much as possible for the August meeting. There are some wastewater numbers that are tough to calculate because how much you want to invest in the collection system versus how much you want to invest in the plant. There's chicken and egg arguments there of what's more important, and so trying to structure that out. And also that the investment you make in the plant in 1 year may really change. So it is a little bit hard to forecast that out. In terms of Water Plant 1, I think step 1 is a study that'll look at the feasibility of, you have to outweigh the repairs and upgrades needed to Plant 1 versus what I'll call the potential of a Plant 3, and how those two numbers work themselves out. Is it more cost effective in the long run to build a Plant 3 and decommission Plant 1, or is the best investment to rehab and recondition Plant 1? And those are things that will have to go through a study to get that number to a final point.
Sure. I understand the timing part as well. Thank you for explaining that. And thank you to you and all of the staff who've put so much time into this. This is a great document.
It's the start of what should be a great document, but we got some work to do yet.
Okay, Alder Rossiter.
I'm just gonna pick on DPW. I might have missed it on your matrix, the form you made.
Yep.
Is that prioritized already, or they just
No,
there's a number?
I just randomly threw them on the list. We have to talk about prioritization within our group.
Okay.
Alder Lawson.
So, like the utility, how and where are we tracking other potential larger needs? Like, we know that we're doing a study now on public safety, but, at some point, potentially we have other needs, community center, library, public works.
I don't know how to answer that other than there's a lot of us that, maybe get some sleepless nights trying to think about those things and how that gets structured out and prioritized. I think to this point, we've prioritized the public safety building. What comes back from that study could change that. It could open up that question discussion. I don't know that there isn't, you added, you hit the highlights, right? The library, community center, public works. are the three that get bandied about a lot, and I don't know. The challenge is that if you put those numbers in, well, I'm open to ideas or suggestions on how this document would reflect those things, but I also know that based on the last 15 years, that if we get a public safety figured out in the next 5, we'll be ahead of the game.
So, I think we should have a study done on all city facilities. I think we've kicked that can down the road for so long. I think if we got, a professional group that's what they do, they can evaluate our needs along with what we have. And maybe there's a way that they can prioritize, reuse of some buildings for a different need that we just hadn't thought about, and they can give us a plan. But I think the continuing to kick the can and piecemeal stuff is not to our advantage.
I think that is very fair, and I will do some outreach to maybe have other communities, engaged in such a study and maybe look at what they learned and what the success was and what they'd do differently if they were to do it again.
Alder Reed?
Sorry. Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you to start, that this is awesome just to have a skeleton of a vision for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm well aware that there are definitely a number of, large holes, but this is really, really good for a start and for us doing it. I'm more impressed with this than some of the, facility type studies we have had done in the past, 10 years that we paid, over $10,000 for. I find this more useful and in some ways more realistic, so I think it's a good start.
Alder Finkler?
Yeah, I just want to show my appreciation for this document as it was put together. I mean, I just think between this and all the other plans that we have been developing and how much work the staff has been putting into trying to get us into a better spot because we've had no plans. So I just really appreciate that, and I want to thank everybody that worked on it, and especially want to thank the person that used the word bubbler in the plan. So I appreciate that by using the correct word. So thank you.
Amy Jo's on vacation this week, but we'll make sure to get that recognition to her.
Midwest. All right. Any further discussion on this? No? Then we'll be waiting in a joyful anticipation for the next presentation. So, with that, then I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Alder Finkler and a second by Alder Reed to adjourn. Any further discussion tonight? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.